Yo, check out my newest key. No, just kidding. This is a split keyboard. It's from Filco. It's a very well-known brand, and this came courtesy of Stax KB. This package arrived within like 2 days, so that's pretty fast. And there it is. Let's open it up. It's called the Majestouch Xarco. Or is that how you say it? Xarco? I don't know. But what I do know is that this is one of those split keyboard designs that I wanted to try for a long time. We have a user manual up front, and there's the keyboard itself. Out of the box, it's held together by something in the middle. We'll check it out. Along with this, you get a Type-C to Type-C connector and a Type-C to Type-A connector. I'll tell you why we need two cables. We also get a keycap puller and some height risers, I guess, and some extra keycaps, some with legends on top, some on the front side. And there's also two extra Filco keycaps. That's nice. There's this weird business card thingy which I didn't understand what it is. Turns out it's kind of a sticky note holder. You just pull this thing and you get some sticky notes, and you can carry this in your pocket to stick some messages anywhere. That's clever, isn't it? It's exceedingly Japanese. Okay, let's look at the keyboard itself. I'll separate the two sides. I like how it fits seamlessly together and separates in that same orientation. We saw something similar in one of our Kickstarter videos recently, right? But this has 10 extra customizable buttons, so that's great. And what's this? 3 USB ports on top? And the other one has a Type-C port. Well, I think now you understand why we need those cables. This is unfortunately a wired keyboard. Those two halves have to be connected to one another with that Type-C to Type-C connector. I know, I wish it was wireless too, but it's not. The one we saw on Kickstarter is fully wireless, so that would be even cooler because these two will have a cable running between them, right? So it won't be that seamless on your desk. And that Type-A port is actually a patch through, so once you connect this to your PC, you can connect something like a mouse receiver to that Type-A port. That's handy, isn't it? Although I noticed that not all cables fit to this because the opening is very narrow, so you better use Type-C cables with very thin connectors like the one they provide. I wish that opening was a little bit better so that other cables would fit as well. There we go, I plugged it in, and yeah, you noticed it doesn't have any backlights either. This is meant for like very daytime office-centric use. It's not exactly an RGB keyboard. On the back there are like couple of interesting things. You may have noticed some screw holes there. That's where those height risers go. You may have noticed it doesn't have those kick-out risers that you usually find in keyboards. Instead, it has these 4 threads. So you screw those feet onto that keyboard on either side, however you wish, to align it the way you want. So you can have both the sides inclining inwards in a V shape, or you can have like a mountain shape with both of them sliding out. Either way, it works fine. I recommend you keep it in an angular shape where your wrists are pointing outwards. That's the most comfortable position in my experience. That's what she said. Now, I was absolutely blown away by how many hardware features this keyboard has. Like, you may have noticed that it has tons of tiny switches on the back. Yeah, it has hardware customizable buttons. Do you want to swap the Alt key and the function key? Flip number 3 on the back. Do you want to swap the Windows key and function key on the right? Flip number 6 on the back. See, it doesn't even need a software. It's a hardware level thing. You can follow these various combinations as it is mentioned on the back and also in the manual as well. There are tons of these which we won't get into in this video. There's too much. Let's talk about macros. I mean, we have those extra keys and there has to be a macro function, right? Well, you basically have to act like a secret agent. So are you ready? Agent, your mission is to first go back and check if you have fingernails. If you don't, use a narrow pointed object like a pen or a knife to flip switch 11. This will trigger the macro mode. You have to accidentally type this nonsensical thing, and if the keyboard is plugged in already, you have to unplug and plug it back in so that mode is registered. Okay, now we are ready to set macros. On the right half, press the function and control buttons together for 1 second until the LED turns red. Now it's ready to record. Press any button where you want to record macro, and now it starts blinking, which means it's recording your key presses. Once you're done recording, press function and alt to finish the recording. It stops blinking, so it has saved it. Now you can press function and control again to exit the mode. And every time now you press the button, boom, there you go, the macro executes. Oh shit, there's a typo. Well, let's delete and try again, agent. To delete, you basically do the same thing. Again, press function and control for 1 second, enter that macro mode, press that previously recorded button and just wait for it to blink green and finally stop. Now it has erased your previous macro and you can record a new one. Perfect. Mission accomplished, agent. Or you can download their software like a normal person. Bruh. Now it has multiple layers, which is basically profiles, which you can switch by pressing function and 1, 2, 3, 4. The base layer is function 1 and that only supports supports those macro keys, so you can't use additional keys with it. That's sort of a weird restriction in my opinion, but whatever. Okay, enough features. Let's see how it actually feels to type on a split keyboard. As I started typing, I could instantly feel it's much more comfortable. My hands would naturally type the way I would, except I'm not closing my wrists together to bring it to a keyboard. I'm just keeping them far apart as I normally would when I'm sitting at my chair in a one-hand keyboard and one-hand mouse orientation, except both sides are keyboard. And you know what? I just realized you can just use half of this keyboard as a gaming setup with a mouse. It works perfectly fine. You don't even need the other half. It's weird I'm saying half of a keyboard, but in this context it makes perfect sense. And yeah, it's very comfortable. Even though there is a cable in the middle which aesthetically doesn't look as nice in my opinion, but it's long enough to allow you to stretch these two to either sides of your body if you want. That's long enough in my opinion. But it's not too long to cause annoyance on your table, so they have designed it well. Now you can keep anything in the middle of your desk like a snack or your phone. There's plenty of space now. Now this model they sent me comes with the Cherry MX brown switches. In other words, blech. Look, I don't like brown switches. It's not the keyboard's fault. I'm just not a tactile switch guy. I like linear stuff. But my personal bias aside, the typing experience is really good. There is nothing to complain. Here's a quick sound test. Take a listen. So yeah, all in all, this is a very interesting and very comfortable keyboard to have. I know it's expensive, but if you have the money to spend for it, and if you're in the market for a super comfortable ergonomic keyboard, then yeah, this Japanese design keyboard is a great choice. Thanks again to Stax KB for sending one over. I'm really glad I got to try this design in a couple of days that I made that Kickstarter video. I can die peacefully now. There are some annoyances, like I miss my arrow keys. This one doesn't have direct arrow keys. However, it's pretty nice that it has these mouse movement buttons on the left side. The idea is if you want to move your cursor for a short time, you can do so without leaving your hand from your keyboard. That's pretty cool in my opinion. Again, ergonomics is the theme of this keyboard. I just wish this was wireless and maybe hot swappable. But yeah, overall those were my quick thoughts on the Filco Majestouch Xarco. Weird name but pretty interesting keyboard. What do you think? Would you ever buy a split keyboard like this? Let me know.